It is the third week of the Trump presidency, and everywhere there is chaos and mayhem. And make no mistake, it is by design. The more chaos there is, the more mayhem there is, the more Donald Trump will say, give me power to deal with the chaos and the mayhem, regardless of the fact that he is the cause. This is the warning. 3 weeks ago today, Donald Trump raised his hand and was inaugurated 47th president of the United States. Since that instant, America has been in chaos, and government institutions are under siege. Now, let's be clear about democracy and how it works. Donald Trump, as has been pointed out by Senator John Fetterman, won the election. But more than that, the slot machine lined up. Triple sevens, Republican House, though by a one-seat margin, Republican Senate, Republican White House, conservative-dominated court. Republicans in Washington are writing the rules. But that does not mean Democrats have no power. The minority has substantial power in the United States system, in the government, which is to say nothing of the Democratic governors and the more than 76 million Americans who did not vote for Donald Trump. And surely, out of the more than 77 million that did vote for Donald Trump, none voted to make Elon Musk emperor or voted to give Donald Trump the right to bestow the presidency to Elon Musk on a backroom deal as a reward for the $300 million that Elon Musk put into Donald Trump's campaign. Elon Musk's payoff is that his net worth has increased by $200 billion. If he wants to run the government, then he should run for office. A federal judge stopped the Musk rampage, and what did Musk do? Demanded the impeachment of the judge. Elon Musk does not like to be told no, and he will not hear the word no from Donald Trump. The Democratic Party has a problem with the word no because it takes grit and stamina and fortitude to hold the no line. Soon, Donald Trump will need Democratic votes. He will need them to pass the budget. He cannot pass it because his wild, rowdy, crazy, corrupt MAGA Congress cannot produce the votes. Let's talk about politics here. Both Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer have not linked Democratic votes for the Trump budget deal to the immediate cessation of Elon Musk's illegal and unconstitutional assault. In fact, it could be argued that at most there are 10 to 15 senators in the Democratic Party that seem to have any concern at all about what's happening. And really, there is only one who is effective in this moment around communicating in a public space about what's happening. And that's the Connecticut Senator, Chris Murphy. Let's listen to Senator Murphy.
And I think this is the most serious constitutional crisis the country has faced, certainly since Watergate. The president is attempting to seize control of power and for corrupt purposes.
Good point.
The president wants to be able to decide how and where money is spent so that he can reward his political friends, he can punish his political enemies. That is the evisceration of democracy.
And here again,
you can see what he's trying to do here. He is trying to crush his opposition by making them afraid of losing federal funding, by making them afraid of physical violence. And so, yes, this is a red alert moment.
Democrats in Washington are ill-led by this man, Chuck Schumer. At one of the most dangerous moments in American history, there is a clown who is a general. His name is Chuck, and he's got to go because this does not measure up against the exigent circumstances the country faces. We will win. It is appalling. And the Democratic senators this week should say, thank you, Senator Schumer, for your service. The people of the state of New York are lucky to have you. The nation will rely on your vote, but you will not lead the conference anymore because you're not capable of doing it. The Democratic position when it comes to giving any votes for the passage of the Trump budget, the Trump spending bills, should lay out a very simple demand. The negotiations can begin when Elon Musk's vandalism ceases, when it stops, period. When the inspector generals are returned to duty, the negotiation can begin. When there is a full accounting of every single action that has been taken by Elon Musk and his agents, the negotiations can begin. Understand what I'm saying. The negotiations can begin when those things stop. Instead, Chuck Schumer is being quoted in the news media saying he won't do the thing he needs to do. He's negotiating with himself in public, in the newspaper, and though Trump can't read it, someone will read it to him. What Democrats need to do here is simply hold the line and not take one more step backwards. What the Democratic leader needs to say, looking into the camera, is I'm the Democratic leader. Mr. President, hear me loud and clear. And then make clear there will be no Democratic votes unless these things stop. And if it comes to pass that in the third week of his presidency, Donald Trump makes clear that the government is to be shut, then it may be shut for the next 2 years. Democrats will have to explain that in order to save the republic, we must endure the suffering of a non-functional government. And the American people will have to figure out how to lift each other up. But here's the deal. There is no price that is too high to pay to stop what is going on. Chuck Schumer is a lost cause. Hakeem Jeffries is at risk of being contaminated by the lost cause. Hakeem Jeffries needs to show more than calm. He needs to show toughness. Winston Churchill faced a dilemma. When the Nazis overran France, they overran the second most important and powerful naval fleet in Europe, England's ally. Churchill ordered the sinking of the French fleet. It was a brutal decision. And this is an untold chapter of World War II because a lot of French sailors were killed by British bullets and shells as the French fleet was destroyed. Now, was World War II won because Britain, at its beginning, destroyed the French fleet? Of course not. But an important signal was sent. And the signal was this, that Great Britain would do anything to win, to stop what was happening. And this is what Democrats need to signal, that they will do anything to make what is happening stop. And that means the party of government will let Trump shut it down. Let's understand the insanity here. Trump is trying to destroy the government, but he cannot unless it is funded. This is a tough time for America that's about to get tougher, which means Democratic politicians better get tougher. Some of them better figure out how to get in front of a camera and say something compelling, say something with conviction. And it needs to be more than Chris Murphy. America is worth defending from this. And the Democrats should do everything in their power. Block the nominations, shut down the spending, and if necessary, let Trump take the blame for it. Donald Trump said he was picked by God to bring in America's golden age. Donald Trump has claimed infinite power, and he can do everything everywhere all at once, except keep the government open. Only a pathetically weak and incompetent political party that is terrible at politics would evaluate that situation and say, we're at risk for being blamed. That weakness, that flaccidity and impotence is grotesque. It's un-American, and it is certainly not called for in this moment. This is The Warning. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.